What's up, folks? Money Gamer here. Picture this. You wrap up a long week, check your bank app, and see the usual suspects: rent, groceries, that streaming bundle you forgot to cancel, quietly chipping away at what little is left. Saving feels like a joke. Why bother stashing away 20 bucks when it barely registers? It's that same drag you get starting a new character in an MMO at level 1, staring at a massive world map full of high level zones and thinking, this grind is never going to matter. But here's the quiet truth I've learned after 20 plus years in games like World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, Star Wars The Old Republic, and old school RuneScape. Early experience grind is exactly why saving small and early builds the foundation for real financial security. It feels slow and invisible at first, but it levels you up in ways that change everything down the line. Today, we're unpacking the psychology behind why starting that habit now matters more than most people realize. Let's queue up and dive in. We've all tried the common route, waiting for the right time to save. Bigger paycheck lands, debt finally drops, bonuses hit, then we'll start. But that approach usually stalls out because life keeps throwing curveballs and our brains are not built to prioritize far off rewards. Psychologically, it's called present bias or hyperbolic discounting. We overweight what we can enjoy right now and discount the future too heavily. It's why you loot that shiny piece of gear in an RPG, sell it, and then spend your gold immediately instead of saving for raid consumables or enchants that would actually help later. I did exactly this early in my career. Fresh out of my computer science degree, working as a full stack engineer, I treated my first real paychecks like unlimited inventory spaces. Gadgets, takeout, spontaneous Steam sales. It mirrored my rookie mistakes from World of Warcraft, where I blow resources on flashy mounts instead of managing bags properly for long quest chains. The result was that I had these full inventory moments where my monthly budget felt maxed out with nothing left for breathing room. And yeah, we've all scrolled past friends' posts about new cars or trips and felt quietly behind, even though their story probably hides similar quiet struggles. That struggle is normal. The system is designed to pull us toward immediate gratification: ads, notifications, the dopamine loop of small purchases. But in games, we tolerate the grind because the experience bar gives visible feedback and the payoff is tangible. We get new abilities, better loot tables, access to tougher or newer content. Saving works the same way once you reframe it. Early on, putting aside $20 or $50 a month feels pointless, like killing low level mobs for tiny experience ticks. And your brain starts to say, why bother when I could just enjoy this now? Yet those small deposits are the daily quests that are quietly filling the progress bar. Let's go deeper into the psychology and the game parallel. Think about compound interest as exponential experience gain in an RPG. In the early levels, say 1 to 20, each kill gives modest experience and the curve feels flat. But once you hit higher levels, that same percentage compounds dramatically because your base is larger. The same principle applies to money. Time is the multiplier. Money you set aside early starts earning returns, then themselves earn returns, creating a snowball you cannot replicate by starting later. I first internalized this watching my experience totals in long term RPG grinds. Months of steady questing didn't feel impressive week to week, but logging in after a break showed huge jumps in power level. Same with an emergency fund. It's like stockpiling health potions and buffs before a major boss fight. Life throws unexpected raids, medical bills, car repairs, job shifts. Without that stockpile, you're forced into high interest debt traps that feel like permadeath in a roguelike, sudden setback with lasting consequences. I've lived that too. Early overspending left me scrambling once, and it taught me that consistent small saves create the buffer that let you stay in the fight instead of restarting from checkpoint. Another layer to this is habit formation and behavioral momentum. Psychologists talk about how tiny repeated actions rewire our decision making over time. In games, we don't think twice about daily login bonuses or grinding a few mobs because the ritual itself builds the groove. We show up, we progress, we feel the rhythm. Saving small is the daily rep. It treats the resource allocation muscle. You start seeing your budget like inventory management, prioritizing slots for essentials first, then consumables, which is your savings, then only the fun gear. Diversification fits here too, just like balancing a team comp with tanks, healers, and DPS for different dungeon mechanics. Spreading savings across goals reduces risk. One pot for emergencies, another for bigger quests like a home down payment or skill upgrades, which could be courses or certifications. It's not flashy, but it prevents wipe when one lane goes wrong. Hey, and if you're finding this helpful so far, consider subscribing. It helps me keep sharing these strategies in a way that actually sticks. No pressure, just part of the journey that we're on together. The real behavioral trap is all or nothing thinking. People wait to save quote unquote serious amounts, but that threshold never arrives. In games, waiting for the perfect legendary drop before running content means you stay under leveled forever and probably pretty bored. The power comes from starting undergeared and learning through play. Small habits also fight decision fatigue. When saving is automated, like a tiny auto loot system pulling from each paycheck, your brain conserves energy for bigger strategic choices instead of fighting willpower every day. Now, here's the turning point, the mindset shift that changed how I play both games and my money. The real reward isn't the size of the first deposits, it's the compounding advantage of time plus consistency. Starting early, even tiny, gives your resources decades to grow quietly in the background while you handle life's daily quests. Waiting 5 or 10 years means those same habits have far less runway to level up. And it's the difference between entering a high level dungeon at level 40 versus level 60. It's the same effort afterward, but vastly different outcomes. I felt this shift tracking experience curves in long MMO campaigns. Early grinding felt boring, but replaying old zones later showed how foundational those levels were. Psychologically, this reframes saving from deprivation to strategic positioning. You're not missing out now. You're buying future options, freedom to take better jobs, handle surprises without panic, pursue passion projects without the financial sword of Damocles hanging overhead. It's patient leveling instead of chasing quick dopamine hits that reset your progress. This shift moves you from reactive play, like scrambling for every bill spike that happens, to proactive strategy, building the character who clears the content smoothly, efficiently, and confidently. Quiet confidence that comes from watching that savings bar fill, even slowly, mirrors the satisfaction of finally unlocking a new talent tree after months of work. You start seeing money as a system you manage, not a chaotic loot table controlled by outside forces. So, what does this look like in practice? Small, grounded moves that respect where you are right now. First, let's pick an amount that feels almost laughably easy, maybe $10 or $20 per paycheck. Set up an automatic transfer right after payday so it happens before lifestyle creep can claim it. Treat it like enabling auto loot in your game settings. Second, make progress visible. Use a simple spreadsheet or app that shows your running total and perhaps projects modest growth over time. And then watch that bar fill up. Celebrate the small milestones. First $100, then maybe $500, like hitting a new level and unlocking a minor perk. Third, tie it to existing routines. After a gaming session or weekly review, spend 2 minutes checking your resource allocation. Review what went well and adjust one thing. No perfection required. If debt feels like the current boss, focus there first as the priority consumable. Then layer in savings once the immediate threat is managed. Progress over perfection keeps the habit alive instead of burning out on an impossible raid. Remember those side quests in games, the optional ones that give nice bonuses without being mandatory? Small savings act as your financial side hustle. Low risk, steady returns, and it compounds alongside your main story progression. For my engineering days breaking down complex systems into manageable parts, I learned that the biggest problems yield to consistent small optimizations. It's the same thing here. As we wrap up, I want you to feel the reassurance that wherever you are right now, level one, mid game, or recovering from a wipe, is exactly the right place to start. Saving early isn't about being perfect or having all figured it out young. It's about showing up consistently, trusting the grind, and giving your future self the best possible team comp and gear setup. I've seen it in my own journey, those early levels from poor resource management turned into the patience that now lets me approach money with calm strategy rather than stress. The game keeps going, but the more prepared your character, the more you get to enjoy the world instead of constantly scrambling. If this resonated and helped reframe savings in a way that feels doable, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow so I can keep making these grounded psychology meets gaming breakdowns you enjoy. And please drop a comment about your current quest. What's one small saving habit you've started or have tried? I read every one and love seeing your progress stories. They remind me we're all in different parties tackling the same big map together. Until next time, keep grinding smart, manage the resources, and remember the early levels matter most. This is Money Gamer signing off. Stay strategic out there.